All right, today we are headed up to camp. The foundation is on pause and the access hole is cut in the block. I'm gonna get some 2x6 PT framing in there around the hole so I can jam in the old doors so that raccoons and stuff don't live in there. Okay, figured I'd show you what we're working with here. We got the new block foundation, entrance down into the crawl space. Looks like J-Bone left me a nice, flat, perfectly square hole here. I can just take a couple measurements, build a nice, perfectly square box here. I'll be good to go. Okay, this is what we got. I was able to clean this up a little bit. I'm not looking for airtight seal here. I'm just looking to get the old doors framed into here, into this hole, to keep the critters out for the winter. So I'm gonna pull up a few measurements and see kind of what it looks like, cut a couple pieces of wood and see what we can do here. I hate it. So this is what we got going on. I just have so much material on each end that I've got to continue to chip out. It's tough to get the right angle, but the gap is just massive along the bottom plate here. So unfortunately, I didn't think that this was going to be the case, so I didn't bring my cold chisel. So this guy is my tool of choice. So I'm going to go back to pitter-pattering along this bottom plate for a while. It's going to be super fun. Now we're talking. A little bit more effort. Nice flat spot for me to put my bottom plate. A lot of you guys, maybe not a lot of you, but I have no idea who's going to watch this. If you've been in the trades at all, you know that you always blame the other guy. So you heard me picking on J-Bone earlier, leaving me a nice square hole. You know, if you're the electrician, you blame the carpenter. If you're the carpenter, you blame the plumber. If you're the random dad, you blame the stonemason. We'll see how this plate fits now. I still hate it. I still hate it. Yeah, we can't have this. I'm all about backing the caulking truck up, but can't handle this. Corners are where my problem is. Now we're talking. Gonna have a pretty gnarly gap up the side, but for some reason I feel better about this. This side's gonna be okay because I got a straight block joint. Well, I guess at the top is pretty horrendous, but that looks pretty good. I can live with that. Yeah, see, barely see light through there. If I had to roll that foam stuff like a real person would have, fill that right in, but I can live with that. So my plan here is to cut another one that fits kind of tight at the top. Tappy it up in there. Hopefully the tension will hold it. And then I'm gonna cut the side pieces and screw those in to the top pieces so I don't have any fasteners like penetrating the concrete. You guys have seen me running the Sawzall in there. I'm not cutting concrete or mortar with the Sawzall. I think this stuff is called Durawall. It's like a galvanized thin piece of metal that drops between the courses of block when you're building the wall. Kind of like rebar, only it runs horizontally in the wall. So I had to cut a little of that out. You also saw me running the Sawzall here. I cut a little notchy notch out of this piece of framing that's probably doing nothing in there along the outer rim. But anyway, I want my top plate to come over tight to this block. If you can get the perspective there, that little 2x is hanging down, so I'm just gonna give it a little shave off so I can keep my 2x6 nice and flat. Working the Ryobi hard today. I actually like it. Change of plans. I'm gonna sink a couple deck screws up into the bottom plate there to hold the top one in. Why not? Show you what we got here. Pretty tight fit. Obviously, that's going to be a big gap after we put the sides in. Screwed right to the rim joist, all the way around. That side's actually relatively flat. No, it's not. All right, let's get some side pieces cut, see what happens. One trick I learned a long time ago is you can write on your tape measure. I know everybody probably knows that, but if you didn't, there you go. Okay, I was thinking to myself, before I get these this framing all screwed in and nice and plumb, maybe I ought to grab the doors that the hole was cut to fit and just do like a quick test run. And so in the spirit of blaming the other guy, like, I don't think I need to pull the measurements and do the math for you on that door fitting that hole. So it appears that I'm gonna have to build some new doors. I've got those 2 sets of hinges right there, or you know, 1 set of hinges that are on that door. There's a bunch of other junk laying around here, so I'm gonna try to whip up a couple doors to just cover that hole for now. Quick update, I'm throwing a couple screws in the corners of these, toenailing, but screwing down this way. I thought to myself, this is pretty wet, pressure treated, but why don't I sink a couple pilot holes down just to keep from cracking, you know, going the extra mile. So I didn't bring my drill set, but I had found 1 bit in my bag and I broke it off on the first one. Okay, so the hard part of this project is supposed to be done. Holes all cleaned out, framed out. Now was the time where we were just going to put a couple screws in, hang 2 of these doors, and cut out of here. But now I'm going to try to find some plywood. I've got 1 sheet, half sheet of 3/4 inch pressure treated. I think I'm just going to build a 1-piece door, put those hinges on it, figure out a way to clasp it shut for now. I didn't bring my T-square or anything because I didn't expect to be doing anything like this. So I gotta find something straight around this place. This is a piece of decking that has a factory edge on it that is going to be straight enough for at least a temporary junk door. Don't do this at home, kids. When I was a kid, I learned, when you're the cut man cutting plywood, don't hand it up to the big dogs on the roof covered in sawdust. They get mad. Show you guys what I have to do here, because I'm not prepared to do what I'm doing, which is a little bit of the story of my life. I'm trying to reuse these hinges, but because they are kind of flathead screws full of paint, I'm going in here with my utility knife cleaning these out, because the first one came out just fine. The second one I almost stripped. Okay, not at all what I had in mind, but my goal of raccoon proofing the crawl space of the camp is done. You guys notice I screwed the old hinges to the back side of this piece of plywood because of the way I wanted it to swing. I was able to salvage a little hook latch off of one of the sheds just to keep it closed so the wind doesn't blow it open or anything. So that should keep us critter free for the winter. And I'll build a cute barn door for this next spring maybe. So that could have been way worse, but it didn't turn out exactly the way we wanted it to. But the hole in the foundation is at least covered up. It was plenty warm today. It was only 28, but I didn't have to put my suit on at all. Moving around out there, I was plenty warm. I did go inside. It's probably going to be a little chilly. It just doesn't warm up during the day inside the way it does outside this time of year. So I am probably going to be looking for some sort of propane heater for the workspace indoors for the rest of the winter. If anybody has any suggestions on that, let me know in the comments underneath. I've been going back and forth and reading about ventless propane heaters and, you know, the salamander style, and whether they're safe to run inside or not. So if you have any thoughts on that, it seems like it's a very religious debate on the internet, but let me know what you think.